Hi Joe Kids and hi Joe Wise, because Mr. Steal Your Girl has arrived. I've always loved this craftsman. I mean, he's just always kind of been an old badass, like, let's be honest. But when I see him rolling up in the cruiser and he's got his babe next to him and he comes out with the sunglasses, the suit, and he just feels as cool as can be. Yes, maybe he does have a little accident and the clothes explode off of him when he gets excited about what he's building next, but you can't deny, for like less than 30 seconds, he was the coolest character in this entire world, and no one can take away that from him. I mean, what an episode 2 for Dr. Stone New World. We not only acquire photography, which that alone is pretty amazing, but what it does for not only certain people's dreams thinking they'll never have it again, to now being able to take aerial pictures and be able to find and locate oil a lot quicker than if they were just drawing maps and things like that. This episode just continues to remind me why I love Dr. Stone so much and why I say it's always going to be one of the top picks in any anime season that it airs in, even in a packed spring season like this one. Now, full live reaction is available on my Patreon if you're interested in seeing my full uncut thoughts. I really enjoyed this. I'd actually say I enjoyed episode 2 more than its return episode, and not to discredit that episode by any means, but it's just something about, like, Dr. Stone. I think the thing that really sells this is that, in my opinion anyway, Senku might be the most valuable anime character. I think when you take into consideration the setting that they're a part of, but just the sheer genius and what this man offers to a stone civilization. Rewind to season 1 and look at where he started to where they're currently at. I mean, just the idea that, okay, in order to get this revival juice, so basically I need to make you a camera? Sure thing, I'll do that for you. They're at a stage now that anyone's dreams can more or less become reality. That's why I say, like, Senku's dreams of eventually going to space, honestly, I believe it at this point. And the fact that he's like the most greedy character but always wants everyone else in the spotlight is such a brilliant motive about him. So the whole point of like each character that was obviously frozen in time, each of them has something that they feel like they'll never get back, and each of those dreams, and honestly heartbroken dreams, are something that matters to each and every one of them. If I wake up in a world and I can't take pictures anymore, I'm personally not going to be crying and losing sleep over it. But the idea that everyone has something that they would miss, you couldn't replace it. You couldn't fill the hole that it would leave you. And for someone's entire dreams and pastimes since they were a kid losing that camera, I understand completely why she feels that way. And the fact that Senku's not heartless, he'll be like, okay, we can do that, but also I see the practical use for me. Yeah, he's a bit of a troll and a bit of a D when it comes to like wheeling out the cart with 100 other cameras, making her big cry sob story being like, I'll make sure I do this right. You know, of course, it's like, okay, maybe he could have handled that without ripping off the band-aid, making her not feel as special. That doesn't change the fact that he did it, right? And the reason I think Senku's the most valuable anime character is that when you really consider the fact that this man single-handedly, yes, he needs people to help him and to work with him, but his mind, his intellect, and the fact that even things that he may not know completely, like, yeah, he failed at making bread, but as soon as he learns, like, he's just the type of person that once he sees something once, he pretty much can either finish the formula by himself, or he'll just watch the full thing happen and he can do it. He is, without a doubt, in my opinion, and if you don't agree he's the most valuable, you can't deny he's one of the most valuable anime characters ever, and the fact that he single-handedly is bringing a civilization either back to where it was or to a point where the people born in this world never dreamed possible, it's amazing. Like, look at the charcoal bread joke, right? Anyone who came from the original world thinks it tastes like garbage because anyone who's had burnt or even like literally falling apart charcoal bread, it is disgusting and you run for the nearest glass of cold water. But for a group of people who literally had probably barely any seasoning, no real food that had flavor, anything is going to taste different and better in a weird way. And the fact that when they finally create this bread that in theory should last about 10 months, it's a form of sweet bread. Honestly, it kind of looks like a dessert bread. The fact that you see such a wide variety of emotions. A lot of people are crying tears of joy because we never thought we'd taste this again, but when you look in the background, you'll just see characters, these kids who were born into this world. Imagine putting yourself in their shoes, going from eating plain boar meat or, you know, just not a lot of tasty foods to having something that tastes like a dessert probably. Just these are the moments that really define Dr. Stone, and the idea of acquiring photography for more than one reason it really is a game changer. I mean, I have no idea where any episode of Dr. Stone will go. It can be goofy and you can randomly introduce maybe arguably the MVP of the show right now, Francois, who honestly, best butler you can imagine. At first, I just thought, honestly, it would work out because if you're gonna like revive a chef or a butler who can cook, ultimately imagine having food that tastes good. In general, you'll be happier because you're eating food that tastes delicious, and in return, your productivity will increase. But the fact that it's so much more than just getting someone who can cook for you, the ultimate butler really is about to redefine everything for these characters, and the fact that Francois can also teach Senku things that he doesn't know. I mean, it's really interesting to see how they can just so casually introduce characters, and I think to myself, could you imagine if someone like this was like revived in season 1 or 2? The fact that you come out of a almost 4,000 year slumber, you put on your clothes and you just march to your mission because you're the ultimate butler. You don't care where you are, you just know you have a duty and it's time to go see your boss. And I love that. It probably would have felt a little weird if it was in season 1 or 2, given that there's a lot more hardships in those seasons and going from having nothing to building things. But season 3, with the progression to New World, it makes sense to introduce a character like that who makes their lives easier, but has a personality unlike anyone else. And I like this, I really do. Dr. Stone to me is always going to be one of my personal favorite shows to cover. It reminds me of To Your Eternity in the way that it has a very passionate fan base, and the people who watch To Your Eternity or Dr. Stone, we love watching it and we love talking about it. But it's never the show that explodes the most in a season, and in a lot of ways it underperforms more than it deserves. But for me, it's a show I'm so passionate about that as long as they make it, I'll keep covering it no matter what. I can only do that for so many shows in a season until it starts affecting other videos, but shows like Dr. Stone or To Your Eternity, I promise I'll always cover because I love it that much. It was funny, it was adventurous, they're building more things that are just so amazing to consider that, I mean, a mirror alone was enough for me to be like, damn, that's cool, but then realizing that you just made a mirror for a part in your camera, how do you not get a kick out of this show? I continue to love the production of Dr. Stone. It may not be arguably the sharpest or most stock-filled show of a season, but they use their style in such a way that it always matches what they're going for. Whether it was the Minecraft building in the last episode, to even the almost chibi Francois like cooking show that they do. They just find a way to match the animation with the characters' personalities and the art style shifts and everything they go for. It works for me and I really enjoy watching it. It just is a 10 out of 10 entertainment show for me. And I love the fact that you could really break down what they're doing and you can say, actually, they probably could do that given how they're explaining it. It's fantastic. Thoughts and feelings of yourself down below. Drop a like if you enjoy and subscribe if you're new around here. Also be sure to ring that bell, of course, so you can get notified when I upload on the channel. And like I mentioned, full live reaction is available on my Patreon. While you're there, you can also get a video shoutout. So today we have Coconut, Third Dynasty, and Ailun. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.